All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
This is Tony.
So last week we weren't able to record and put out a show for you. I'll let Tony tell you what was going on.
I just had a uncle pass away back home in New York.
And you flew out, right?
Yeah, it was a 36-hour trip total.
Wow. Now, so was your family waiting for you at the airport? People picking you up?
I didn't get there till like midnight. I didn't tell. I told an uncle who's not on that side of the family that I was coming. I didn't tell the side of the family that's involved that I was coming because I didn't want them to have to worry about me housing me, feeding me. You know, they had a bunch of stuff going on already. So I flew in. The funny thing is I left here with sweats and a jacket.
Right, I remember watching you to the airport, so I remember you had on that big-ass fluffy jacket.
A puffer jacket.
Yeah.
Because it's cold out there. I go through the airport, dude. Everyone's in shorts, T-shirts. I'm on the plane. I was like, let me put my jacket away because...
I was going to say, you had to have been fucking hot the day I dropped you off, bro.
It was warm. But here's the thing. I put the jacket in my backpack. And, you know, everything was fine. And I get there at midnight. And when I get out, going to the rental car spot, everyone's got jackets on. Everybody's bundled up. And I didn't have my jacket on because I'm like, I'll just go get this rental car and peace out right quick.
Oh, but it's opposite ends of the world, bro.
Dude,
what do you expect?
Total opposite. And the worst thing is trying to find the rental car location because it's a big airport.
Okay.
So they're telling me, you know, in their New York accents, you got to take the shuttle to the rental car spot.
But how does it sound? How do they say it?
Rudely with an accent. I couldn't replicate it.
All right.
So I'm like, okay, well, where's the shuttle? They say, well, take the elevator to the third floor. So I'm like, all right. So I go to the elevator. I get in the elevator, and the buttons, there's only 2 buttons available as far as going somewhere.
Up and down?
A and C.
Well, that would be C would be...
You would think. Where's B?
3, right?
Where's B?
You're on B.
No, I was on A.
Okay.
I got to go up to the 3rd floor.
Oh, well, maybe B is where all the airplanes are actually the tarmac. So you don't get to go to B.
Yeah, maybe. So I push C. So now I'm walking around on that level. And then they say, I'm looking for the shuttle. So I'm asking, you know, they got police officers there. And so I said, you know, where do I catch the shuttle for the rental car? They're like, oh, they pointed, and I started walking in that direction, and it says air train. So when you think shuttle, don't you think like a bus?
Yeah.
No, it's an actual like a monorail type deal.
Okay.
It's an actual subway.
Right.
For lack of a better description.
Well, I guess but isn't that what they call them in was it when I went to Texas? Isn't that what they're called? Even in Georgia, isn't that what they're called? You have to get on the shuttle to go to the luggage area and pick up your...
I don't know. I don't remember because I was in Delta. I was in Dallas as well, where we had to take a train to another terminal to catch another flight.
Okay.
But again, it's like, okay, you go to the 3rd floor, take the elevator. Well, you should have said floor C. And then you're telling me take a shuttle. I'm looking for a shuttle, and it's actually labeled air train.
Well, you wanted to throw something on the ground and have somebody clean it up for you, didn't you?
I paid good money.
You didn't pay them?
My payment is paying their bills.
You tripping. You don't pay for the New York officers. You pay for California officers. Now, if you'd had a California officer there, maybe you'd have gotten some different answers. And when you say in their New York language or accent, why, I don't know why, but I automatically go to like an Italian Godfather, like Yeah, you're gonna go down over there, right? About
No,
four.
it wasn't Italian. It was
about
more.
$4.
It was more. Because honestly, the cops that were working were young. They actually looked younger than me.
Oh wow.
So because I mean it's midnight, they're gonna the rookies,
The
get
newbies,
shitty,
right?
yeah. So it's more of a street lingo kind of accent. So I get to the rental car spot, and even there's one lady working, and she's even got attitude. She's a Jamaican woman. Attitude, kid.
A Jamaican lady with an attitude.
Oh my goodness. She had just finished up with the guy in front of me, and he's asking her questions.
Oh, so he already frustrated her before you got up there.
And so he wanted to know. I got the gist of it. They charged on his credit card right then and there when he rented it an additional $250 as a hold.
Holy shit.
And so he wanted to know why it wasn't on his receipt that they were holding $250. And she says, well, it's just not done that way because it's not an actual charge. It's just like a hold. And he's like, yeah, but that's $250 less that I could spend on the card because it's being held. And she's like, I don't know nothing about that. And he's like, well, I'm telling you, you hold it. That means I can't charge it. I can't use that amount of funds. I just want it written. I just want to see where on the receipt it's saying that you guys are holding $250 because you guys are doing it. So he starts pulling out his phone to show her, like, I guess his banking app.
Right.
And she's like, I don't need to see that. And he's like, well, I'm just, where on this receipt showing that you're holding my $250? And she, dude, total attitude. Like, I can just cancel it if you want. Let me get it. Let me cancel it. And I'm like, damn.
Hold on. I got it. Set it on the blood clot. Ain't no $250 on your card. Ain't going to show up. Forget about what your question.
Just about.
Get other people waiting. Bumbo clot.
And she had these big ass braids too, to where she kind of looked like
Those would be dreadlocks, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Well, no, it wasn't a dreadlock. It was a braid. Her shit wasn't dreads.
It wasn't all matted.
No, it was probably a wig, more than likely. What? It was bad long, kid. She looked like it reminded me of that Star Wars character that
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, that character she plays, because her shit is like big like that. Why are you looking at me like that?
She don't have braids though. They're like part of her head.
But I'm just saying that big knot coming out. You know what I'm saying?
That would be that, but that would be a dreadlock.
No,
wouldn't
it wasn't a knot. I'm just saying in general. But it was like big.
It was just like a big braid of hair.
Yeah, like big.
All right.
And so she's like, I could just cancel it. I'll cancel it. And he's like, no, I need the car. And she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Next.
What you want me to do, sir?
And she's like, next. So I was like, damn. So I go up there. I tell her my name. She's like, I'm going to need your reservation number.
So, Irie.
I gave her, so give it to her. She starts pulling it up. And she goes,
me don't have no Pacheco for today.
well, what she actually said was it for the 19th? And so I said, yeah, because I flew out on the 19th. And she goes, that's why. Like attitude. And I was like, okay. Obviously you found it.
Oh, because it was
after midnight.
Right.
I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying?
She right. You got to look it on the 20th.
So she goes, that's why. You want the insurance? I'm like, damn. So that went as expected. You're in New York now. It's a whole different beast. A whole different beast.
Everybody got an attitude like that?
Everybody.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't know if I'd last in New York.
So it took me about an hour to get to my uncle's house where I was going to crash that night.
Now, are you really that comfortable driving in? Like, I feel like Like I'm a good driver, bro, and you know what I mean. I'm pretty good at being like in
It, you know what? It's all about maps on your phone. If it wasn't for that, dude, I'd been lost. Especially the next day at the mass at the funeral, I'd have been just completely gone,
Wow.
completely. And we'll get to that in a second.
So because when I think of like, I guess I think of downtown Manhattan. I guess like that's where all the movies are filmed, and all you hear is honking and screaming, and you know sounds of the street being worked on and
Yeah,
shit like that. Is that kind of the environment that you
Yeah.
were in? Really?
pretty much. And the funny thing is, dude, I was, let's say, at one point during my travels, I was like, let's say, the fourth car at a red light, and a semi is behind me. Not a semi per se, but a big truck.
Right.
As soon as that light turns green, he's honking his horn, and he's the fifth car back.
Wow.
Bro, as soon as it's green, he's honking the horn. Like,
But yeah, you
damn,
want to get home.
dog, come on. The light just turned green.
Well, but I think you kind of got to do that out there. Like, I'm sure that because there's a lot of people here. Could you imagine the people here that have anxiety and wait for there to be like, I don't know, no cars anywhere to turn left on a open signal? You know what I'm saying? Like instead of having the arrow, you got just a green
Right.
light, and you got to wait till there's an opening.
Right?
Like most of the time, like we would sneak in. Like right, like it was, oh yeah, I can make it go.
Right?
But then there's people that, oh no, that's too close,
Oh, yeah, and it probably is.
and that's probably why he lays in the horn. Like, no, bitch, you
No,
got time.
it's just New York. They're just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Even though the light just turned green. Even though I'm still gonna have to sit here for another 30 seconds because I'm the fifth car back.
But like you go to L.A. too, though. Like, there's a big difference between life in Palm Springs and the speed at which New York lives.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like there's no way. Like I don't think like when I walk, like even with like I'll go to like I've gone to Acrisure to go watch the hockey games, and I'll go with my sister. And I don't know why she fucking power walks everywhere. Like she's fucking, dude, you're fucking jogging right now. Like what are you doing? Just relax, chill. Look, watch. Let me show you how we do it in California. Right? I stroll. I pimp walk everywhere. Like I got no hurry to get nowhere. You know what I mean? And and when I go to do shit, I leave with plenty of time so that I don't have to move at that pace. Right? And so, but she's in Chinga. Like if I was in New York, I'd get fucking trampled because you know what I mean?
You're right.
Like I step and slip. You know what I mean?
And I don't know if I've said this before. Somebody told me this. I heard it, and it's really true. Between California and New York, people in California are what is it? They're nice. What? No, how did he say it? They're nice, but they're rude. Damn.
Yeah, we know how to tell you off nicely.
No, it's like in New York, they're rude, but they're nice. In California, we're nice, but we're rude. And the way he described it is in California, you can roll up to somebody that has a flat tire, and you be like, "Oh man, that fucking sucks. Your tire's fucked up. Good luck with that," and bounce. But in New York, they were like, "You're a fucking idiot. Look what you did to this tire. Go get your jack and let's get this handled right quick." You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they'll disparage you, but yet they'll help you. And here we'd be like, "Oh man, pat you on the back and good luck to you, but I'm out."
Do you ever? Well, yeah, you probably do. I said, do you ever pull over and help somebody on the side of the road that's like broken down?
Not broken down, but like if they have to push the car out of the way, I'll do that. But I'm not mechanically inclined, so I couldn't help you.
What if somebody had a flat on like if there was a woman on the side of the road, all you saw was the woman and maybe like a couple kids trying to look out the car. Would you stop and help her?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because they're off to the side. They're in a safe spot. They're good. You know,
What if let's say that they were if it was in a parking lot, and you could clearly tell that she's having a hard time getting the nuts off of the wheel, so that she could change it.
I would probably do that. Yes.
Okay.
And that's because I'm not in my car. Let's say I'm walking by, she might need some help. Boom. But if I'm driving by, no, I don't think I would do it.
Wow.
Don't tell me you would.
Now, why? What makes you think I wouldn't?
Spending the last 3 years with you tells me you wouldn't.
Well, what if you rolled up to that same car?
Okay.
And she's trying to change her tire, kids popping up their head, and then you notice there's a dude in the passenger side, and she's the one trying to change the tire. Would you say anything? Would you help her? Would you say anything?
Well, I mean, I think I would still help her. What am I going to say? Get your lazy ass up?
Yeah.
And then he's going to come out blasting?
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, bro.
Get away from my woman type deal?
Hey, she out here trying to change a flat tire, right?
Man, no, I'm not getting involved.
Be like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. Well, come on, homie. Today's your lucky day. It's fucking class 101, pimp. Come on.
If he's in the car already, then there's already something wrong.
Yeah, right?
So I ain't going to try and inflate the issue.
Well, if I stopped to help and there was a dude sitting in the car and it was clearly like no wheelchair or some shit in the car that he normally uses, or, you know what I mean? Or because I'd probably ask, well, he's not going to help you? Your man don't know how to do this? I said, oh, well, he's got crutches, but all right, cool. Like, no, he doesn't want to get dirty. Well, fuck that.
Well, what if we got into a fight and he said it's my car? Look at you.
That's a good one.
Because you can see yourself doing that. That's your car shit.
Oh, all right, cool. Depending on what the fight was about, you know what I'm saying? Let her start trying to get all territorial about, oh, okay, well, fuck it then. It's your car. You know what? That's your flat then. The fuck out and change that shit. And quickly, we got to go. I'm hungry. All right, so okay, so
I roll up to my uncle's at about 1 a.m.
Okay.
I didn't tell him like I landed or anything, because obviously he's asleep. He's got to work in the morning. So he had given me his garage code. And the way his house is, he's got a house, and his basement is like a finished it's like an apartment down there.
Oh, okay.
It was actually where his mom would live when she comes down. It's nice, too. It's got a kitchen, living room, bathroom, bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's like, just stay down there, which I did. Took me a minute to fall asleep, too. I probably finally fell asleep about 2.
Is it just unwinding or just being somewhere new?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then in New York, I mean, obviously houses out here, too. If you live in a multi-story home, people walking around.
You hear it, right?
You hear everything. So that's how I got woken up, just hearing their footsteps. So I got up, went upstairs. They were actually getting just about ready to go to work. So I was able to chit-chat with my uncle for a little while, maybe 20 minutes. His wife and son had left. So I was like, I told him, I said, I don't know if I'm going to come back, because I don't know what the deal is over there. I might stay at my aunt's, because my dad was supposed to be there. I haven't seen my dad in a minute.
Oh, shit, okay.
He came from Puerto Rico. And so I don't know if we're all going to crash at my aunt's. I don't know if we're going to stay up all night. I don't know.
Okay.
So he was like, cool, just let me know. Whoop-de-woo. And so I got dressed, drove to the church where the mass was being held. Now, the church is also attached to a school. It's a Catholic school. It's actually a school that I went to. It's the actual church I went to.
Really?
Yeah. I did my first communion there.
And the building's still around?
Yeah, it's a nice one, too. And across the street, right across the street from it, is the apartment building I lived at. So like when I used to go to school, I would just go downstairs across the street, and I'm at school. So the mass was at 10:45. I got there at 10.
Okay.
Okay. I got there at 10 to be able to say hello, maybe chit chat with my dad. Whoop-de-woo. Nobody was there. Maybe 4 people in the church that were there praying. 10 o'clock in the morning.
Did you at any point think, fuck, I hope this is the right church?
Not at that point.
Okay.
Sat there. About 5-10 minutes later, I saw like a janitor walking by, so I went up to him and said, "Hey, I'm supposed to be at a mass here for a funeral. Is this where I should be?" He's like, "If it's here, yes." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I go back to sit down. 10:20, 10:25, 10:30. Ain't nobody there. So the uncle that I spent the night with, I called him. I said, "Yo, is there any way I'm at the wrong spot?" He was like, "No, that's the only St. Raymond Church. You plugged in the address. That's the only one. That's the school you used to go to." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yep, that's that. You're there." I said, "Dude, there's nobody here." I'm hoping he didn't get the dates wrong.
Oh shit!
Because the viewing was on Monday.
Okay.
And so now it's Wednesday.
Well, that would be about right.
Would it? Because
Yeah.
isn't it usually the next day?
No, they usually like. I don't know how Puerto
Maybe it was
Ricans do
even
it.
Sunday. But go ahead.
I don't know how Puerto Ricans do it. But some Mexican people, the viewing's almost a week,
Damn.
and it's at the house. Like the funeral home takes the body to the house, and there's a room in the house set up, usually like in the living room or whatever, and people come in and out for that week. Hey, if you want to come say your blah blah blahs, whatever, ask for forgiveness, say pay your last respects. You do that. I think I've seen it up to about a week that they do that, and then they do it. But I don't know. COVID screwed a lot of things up for a lot of people.
When my grandmother died in Puerto Rico, everything was on the same day. You know, they got to go. Like 3 days later, you're going in the ground.
Wow.
And I think it's just because they don't have like the services to hold a body for that long. So at about 10:40, some other people walk in, and they sat down. And I overheard them talking, and they said my aunt's name. So I was like, okay, I'm at the right spot.
Okay.
And while I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, and they've got these, like, I was like, oh, I used to come here. It doesn't really look familiar. However, I start scanning the room, and they've got these in the walls. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you can.
Is the cutouts where they put the saints?
Yeah, kid.
Yeah. That's normal Catholic church
Is
stuff.
it?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it,
Oh yeah.
dude.
There's some that are like they look like a bathtub almost, where they're rounded on the
right?
back.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
You know, in New Mexico, they have houses have that shit. Like you'll be driving, and in their front yard, they'll have an old bathtub that they cut in half, and they made that same kind of saint display in their front yard.
Well, this one is square, so it looks like almost like a painting that's
like a
in
3D painting, right?
Yeah. So as soon as I saw him, everything it started coming back. I was like, oh my goodness! It was like in a film when it zooms in real fast,
right?
You know, like you get dizzy, kind of.
And it's just a flood of information.
Yeah,
coming
and
at
then
you.
I started looking up, and the paintings on the ceiling,
right,
all of it just like kind of started rushing back to me.
and all the pane, what is it? Stained pane glass or
Yeah.
painted glass? What is it called?
I think stained glass. It is stained glass. Isn't
Stained
it?
glass,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of brought me back.
How old were you the last time you were at a Catholic church like that? Or that specific one?
Oh, it's
You were like 6, 7?
probably 7 or 8.
Because I remember going to Catholic church with my dad. And church to me was fucking scary. To the church there in Coachella. And, on 52, La Virgen de Guadalupe, whatever it is right there. And, I was small, dude. At that age, like, I'm talking like 10, 12 and below. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was small when I'd go with him. And so the church looked humongous. And it was always really kind of like dark
Right.
in there. And then you walk in and all these statues and they're looking down at you like, you evil little shit. Like, that's just kind of like the face that they put on all these. And they're all over and they're all different saints. And then the stained glass windows, like the sun's coming through, but not really because it's colored. And you're sitting there, and then mass is in Spanish. So I really didn't know. And then people start singing along, or the pastor would say something, and everyone would say, "And peace be with you as well," and blah.
Yeah.
And then at some point, everybody's standing up, shaking hands, and you're like, or kneeling down and standing back up, and I'm like, oh my god, that shit was scary, dude. To me, I don't know. Catholic Church was always a little intimidating to me. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I don't think my mom has, my mom don't have too many pictures anymore. At one point when we lived here in California, one of our houses flooded, and a lot of shit that got ruined, and she photo albums that were on the floor type deal. But there's a picture of me at my communion, and this kind of, again, rushing back, me in a navy blue suit, in front of the altar, with my little Bible and my little rosary hanging from my hands.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, they had a Jesus against the wall, kind of looking down. So it's obvious it's really far back, but it almost looks like he's looking down on you because of the way they now it'd be done more professionally.
Right.
But back then it was like a cheesy cardboard cutout. You know what I'm saying? If I remember right, that's what it looks like.
That's hilarious.
So 10. Then I called my uncle again.
Why?
I said, bro, it's 10:45. I think I'm at the right spot because I heard some people mention my aunt's name. I said, but yo, it's 10:45 and this ain't even started yet. And he was like, well, you're from California. You're dealing with Puerto Ricans. And I'm like, come on, bro. He's like, well, yeah, you got there kind of real early.
It's real, yeah.
I was like, yo, but in California, people were hanging out an hour before, especially the family at least, to welcome people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, dude, 10:58, my aunt comes walking in.
So 13 minutes after it's supposed to start.
Yes, she comes walking in. And then she goes to that group of people that I overheard them mention her name. And then she kind of looked around. She saw me, but she just glanced. Obviously, I haven't seen her in decades. So then my girl cousin walked in. It was her dad that passed away. And she did the same thing. She went to that group. And then when she scanned, she looked at me and she recognized me right away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she was like, oh my God. And she came over. She goes, has my mom seen you? And I was like, no, not yet. So she goes, come on. And then, she said, hey, Mom, it's Anthony, da-da-da. And so we hugged. And then, within 30 seconds, they were bringing in the casket. So we had to just stand there. So I'm looking around for my dad. And I didn't see him, so I figured maybe he didn't show up after all.
Oh, wow.
But then I look at the front of the church because we're in the back of the church. And I see my dad with one of my half-brothers.
Okay.
And so they got an entrance towards the front that has a ramp. Because this is like an old school church. This is like steps. So I saw that he has a walker now. So they brought in the casket. I walked behind it. Well, everyone walked behind it. And then we sat down.
Right.
And they did the mass. Now, remember, if you remember right, my cousin, he's also Anthony Pacheco,
Okay.
but his first name is Felix.
Felix. Okay.
So he's Felix Anthony Pacheco. I'm Anthony Regino Pacheco, but he's always gone by Anthony. Now he's a junior.
Okay.
So his dad is also Felix, but his dad is Felix Antonio Pacheco. But his dad went by Tony. So his son's Anthony, my uncle's Tony. So it really shook me a little bit. Because the priest was saying Tony Pacheco lived a good life. I was like, oh shit. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip. He was saying in a sense, he's saying my name, and I'm like, man. I really started started freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start kind of hitting you like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
And so,
How old was your uncle?
early 80s.
Oh, you still got a while. You got at least 30 years, though. You're good. You good.
So, you know how, like you just mentioned, you got to get up. You got to sit down.
Right.
You got to get up. You got to sit down. So a lot of that was going on, of course. And I noticed my dad, he wouldn't get up. Because, again, I'm like 3 rows behind my dad, maybe 4.
Okay.
So he doesn't know I'm there. So, real quick, you know how they say, peace be with you?
Right. And also with you.
Right. And then give the sign of peace to, you know, how they... And usually you shake hands.
Right.
Well, the priest has said it differently. And I don't know if it's a COVID thing or if it's an East Coast thing. But he says, you know, give you know, the sign of peace to everyone. So, you know, the people you're close to, you kind of extend your hand. But a lot of people were just giving the peace symbol. Like, so they don't have to shake hands.
Really?
Like the actual 2 fingers up. I was like, I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's...
And they would say peace be with you, but I was actually saying peace, you know, with the peace sign.
Right, because I think they tell you something like, know your neighbor, something, extend a hand in peace, and blah blah blah, and whatever. I don't remember the last time I was in a Catholic church.
So after the mass, you know, they were wheeling the coffin out, and so, you know, the first row, not my dad, the second row, so I should say, you know, they followed it, and the third row, and then my row. But then I just went to my dad because I saw my brother helping my dad up.
Right.
And I was like, damn, he's really old. You know, so I grabbed his other arm, like I walked up behind him, and I was helping him on his right arm.
You grabbed him without saying anything?
Yeah.
You could give that old man a heart attack, fool.
So my brother, they both told me, like, ¿Cómo está? And so I said, hi. And then my brother's like looking at me. And my dad just kind of just turned away, like, who the fuck is this guy? Type deal. And so, again, my brother, he's like,
trying to put it together?
yeah, he's trying to put it together. Like, I know this guy. Why is he helping my dad? But I know him, but I don't know him. And then he figured it out. He's like, Anthony? I was like, yeah. Now, this was kind of a trip. I haven't seen him in 12 years.
Okay.
He's 28 now, I think.
You have a younger stepbrother that's 28?
Half brother.
Half brother.
There's, in all actuality, there's 5 of us. My father has 5 sons.
Okay.
It's my brother and I. There's a middle one, which we'll get into in a second. And then there's 2 young ones.
How old is the youngest one?
20, I think he's 28 now.
Okay.
And he was the youngest one.
Okay.
In a sense, like, he's me. Like, my dad did a do-over with my stepmom. He had 2 sons.
Okay.
So this one is me. His older brother is my brother in a sense.
Okay.
So, but what I was going to say was he gave me like a hug, like a really tight, embracing hug. And initially I was like, thought it was kind of, you know, but I kind of understood it. Like, obviously, I'm his older brother. Not that we talk or anything like that, but to him, I mean, yeah, he's my brother. Don't get me wrong, but to him, I'm like his big brother that he hasn't seen in a long time. So like he like was really hugging me tight.
Did the other brother show up?
No.
Could it be part of that too?
What do you mean?
Like the other brothers didn't show up, so oh hey man, thanks for
Oh
coming
no
in.
no no no.
No, nothing like that.
No.
Okay.
And then my dad figured it out. That who I was.
Okay.
My dad, unfortunately, he's like really aged. I don't know what I was expecting. Probably I was expecting to see him the way I saw him 12 years ago.
Right.
But no, he's like really aged to where he had to have help walking. You know,
wow.
yeah, it was an eye opener. I'll be honest with you, that's kind of part of the reason why I went. Because my wife was like, you know, when I was debating on whether to go, because in regards to work, the schedule would have worked out had I made it a quick trip like I did.
Right.
So I was like, you know, I could swing it. I could swing it with work, you know, but I was still debating on where to go. And my wife was like, you know, your dad's going. You don't know when's the next time you're going to be able to see him, how much longer he's going to be around. I like, you know what, you're right. So that's kind of what made me pull the trigger. And I'm glad I did because, yeah, he's up there.
Wow, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you went, dude. Like that's how'd you feel about it? Like, were you relieved that you went? Were you like glad that you went?
I was happy I went. It was good that I went. And because of the scheduling and everything worked out, there really wasn't a reason for me not to go.
Right.
Because they were the ones that took care of my brother and I when we lived out there. You know, like my aunt watched us while my mom worked because my aunt never worked.
Oh, okay.
So it was like my cousin, him and I were like the Batman and Robin.
Okay.
You know, we had the underoos with the towels around our necks. And, you know, we got to talking, and we were talking about that. You know, we were like, kids today don't fucking know how good they got it with the superhero shit. And so I was like, remember, you know, towels around our neck? He goes, yeah, you remember the hair nets? And I was like, hair nets? I was like, no, I don't remember no hair net. And he goes, dude, remember when we were playing Spider-Man and I get my mom's hair nets and we played that like that was our web? And all of a sudden I was like, I kind of do remember that.
That's hilarious. Holy shit.
So from there, we went outside. And as we were walking out, you know, I was chit-chatting with my dad, small talk. And they had like limousines because out there, that's how they do things, you know, limousines and stuff. So they're like, hey, come with us in the limousine. I was like, nah, I got my rental, you know, around the corner. But then as we were walking out, I pointed to the building across the street. And I was like, Dad, you remember that? And I pointed to our apartment because our apartment was on the top floor, the 6th floor, right on the corner.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, Dad, remember that? And I pointed. He looked up and he kind of giggled. He was like, yeah, I remember. And so my brother was like, what's that? I said, we used to live. That's where we used to live right there. So that was cool. I followed them to the cemetery. And cemeteries out there are different, too. Like, the headstones are actual...
Like stones.
Yeah,
like...
3 feet tall. They have... Are they called mausoleums, even though they're not Jewish?
Yeah, because that's just like a building. Where they put
dude, buildings.
families, usually.
Dude, it's a trip. It looks like a tiny house.
Yeah.
And the thing is, miles of this stuff, kid. Miles.
Really?
It's a trip. Now that is scary at night.
Well, I bet.
That, dude, I mean, you go to the cemetery here, it just looks like a golf course. You know what I'm saying? Everything's flat.
Right.
Over there, yeah, kid.
Yeah, I don't...
It's, woof. That's rough.
Did you ever fuck around at a cemetery on Halloween?
No. Not at all.
Man, they tried to get me to do when I was doing radio. They tried to get me to go, oh, why don't you guys go record at a fucking cemetery? Hey, why don't y'all lay down there or fucking kiss my hairy white ass? This shit is not happening, pimping. Yeah, you could take a Ouija board. Yeah, you're tripping. Nope. No Ouija board, no cemetery, no Halloween. Nope. Me and Scooby Doo gonna be kicking it at home, dog. We good. Nope. Nope. Nope.
What else was a trip was at the church. Like some of the people that were there, we were talking, and like these two guys came up to me, about my age, maybe a little older, more like my brother's age,
Okay.
and they were like, Anthony. I was like, yeah. They're like, you got a brother named Ricky? I was like, yeah. You remember me? We used to play like at my grandmother's house, and I was like, no, I don't remember you. They were actually my aunt's nephews, so they're my cousins on the mom's side.
Okay.
And in that building right across the street, like we lived on the 6th floor. My cousins, who my uncle just passed, they lived like on the 4th floor, and my aunt, her mom, lived on like the 3rd floor.
Oh wow.
So we'd all go to each other's apartments and stuff. And they were like, yeah, my grandmother used to live under you guys, and we'd be over there. You guys would come over, and we'd all start playing. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Wow.
That was a trip.
So, at 82, you said, right?
Something like that.
Pops? Was he still fairly?
No, he was going down here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, real bad though.
So
he had that shit in your throat.
the tracheotomy.
Yes.
So does he have that little machine?
I think so. I don't think he actually spoke that much. Yeah, he was actually like in a home. He was real bad.
Okay, I'm not, because you're gonna think I'm fucking talking shit or whatever. But so you said he wasn't talking much, but did he have the open
Talk box?
Yeah.
No. I don't think he even spoke anymore. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So wow. So did they take his voice box out?
I don't know.
The larynx or whatever it's called?
I don't know.
Holy shit.
Like my cousin a couple years ago, or probably a year ago, I should say, he sent me like pictures of him in the hospital. Well, not in the hospital, in that home. Like it was a medical care center type deal.
Right.
And he wasn't doing too good.
Wow.
I feel bad because my girl cousin, she was telling me like they would go visit him every day. One of the 3 of them would go over there every day. Either my girl cousin, my cousin, or my aunt.
Right.
They spend like a couple hours with him at least. And I felt bad because my cousin was saying that there was like really nothing they could do for him per se. So she wanted to bring him home and just have like a nurse come on a daily basis.
Right.
Clean him up and stuff like that. So she said she was in the process of getting that done, paperwork-wise and everything. And she said that the one thing that she didn't want to happen happened, which is him passing with none of the 3 of them there with him.
Oh wow.
So she really feels guilty about that. So yeah. So I followed, like I said, we've a train to the cemetery, caravan, I should say.
Okay.
And so afterwards, we were all going to my aunt's house. And so I popped in their address on my maps, right? And again, this kind of tripped me out.
Now
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Gosh darn it.
Having technical difficulties. Stand by, folks.
Starting route to Tony Pacheco's home.
So it kind of tripped me out too. I typed in their address and that's what he said. That's what Siri said. I was like, damn.
Oh wow. So in New York, do they do like out here where they have like the fake cops and everybody's got their flashers on or whatever?
Oh, we had our hazards on, and the limousines, they kind of just, there were no cops, but they just kind of punked their way through the entire thing. And you have to be like really tight behind them.
If you get lost, right? Yeah, because people out there were like, hey, I'm sorry, but I got to go.
Yep,
I gotta go to
exactly, bro.
Wow.
So that was that. We went back to my aunt's house. I was talking to my cousins, my aunt.
Not a good Puerto Rican food?
No, they had it catered.
Oh.
Yeah.
With Puerto Rican food or no?
No, it was like pasta. They had like a dude. They had like 2 6-foot long subs,
Oh, wow.
and I wasn't hungry, and I knew it was gonna be good, because the bread out there is crazy good, and I was like, the bread alone on that thing was gonna be off the hook.
So you didn't take one to go?
Nah.
Because did you stay that night or did you leave after the services?
So I found out that my dad was leaving that night. His flight was like at 10 p.m.
Oh,
to
shit.
go back home. He had been there for a few days already. And so I was like, and it didn't seem like people were going to be staying at my aunt's house, you know?
Right.
So I actually spoke to my uncle, the one that I stayed the first night with, and I said, yo, it looks like I'm going to be coming back to your house because it doesn't look like anybody's going to stay here. And my dad's actually leaving tonight, so one of the things I want to do was just stay with my dad.
Right.
So he was like, all right, cool. And at around 6, my girl cousin, he stayed at my house, and he wants to get a little rest before his flight. So we're going to go back to my house, and he's going to like lay down for a little while, and then we're going to take him to the airport. I was like, oh, all right, cool. So I went, and it was like a 40-minute drive, kid.
Oh, wow.
In the opposite direction.
She made it sound like it was right around the corner.
I just assumed it was.
Yup.
And so we get to her house. She's got a really nice house. And they said, hey, the airport from here is only like 20 minutes. Because remember, it was an hour to get to my uncle's.
All right.
So she's like, if you want to spend the night, And
Just
I was
stay
like,
here?
yeah, I'll stay there. So I called my uncle, and I was like, yo, I'm not going to come by after all. Yo, he got a little butter, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He was like, oh, so no dinner then? No pizza? And I was like, man. I didn't get no pizza while I
They
was
probably
out there.
fucking already ordered it
Dog.
and shit. He was all like, oh, dope. My nephew or Tony's coming back.
Dog. I didn't have no pizza. No Chinese food out there. It was all bad. All bad.
Wow.
I stayed up till about midnight with my cousin and her husband. We were just chit-chatting. Then I woke up the next morning and kind of bounced. My flight was at 11.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that was you're right, though. That was a quick turnaround, though.
It was I was there then Wednesday, and then I left Thursday afternoon.
Wow.
Or late morning, I should say.
So is that your only regret? You didn't get a chance to have no pizza or Chinese food?
In regards to going back there, yeah. Come on, dude.
That's good that you got that you actually went, though, to get to go see your dad and kind of, okay,
Yeah.
this is where it's at. You know?
Oh, while I was there, this is what I forgot to mention. My father's middle son. Okay?
Okay.
I don't want to put like our dirty laundry out there, but like the middle son he's like an oops baby.
Okay.
I think my dad. It was either a one night stand or it was just somebody who was casually dating the mom, and she got pregnant.
Oh, so the 3 brothers that you have, besides the one here, the youngest and the middle one and those 3, do they all have the same mom?
No, the middle one has a different mom.
But the youngest and the oldest have the same.
The last 2 have the same mom.
Oh, okay.
So it's my brother and I. We're the first 2. Then there's the third one, and then there's another 2.
So which one's the middle one's the one that has?
It's a different mom than.
Okay,
Well, yeah.
So the oldest of the 3.
The one that's after me.
Okay.
He was an oops baby.
Okay.
So
oops, I did it again.
and my dad, as far as he could, take care of this kid. I mean, he met some responsibilities, I assume, because he brought him around and stuff. I mean, I met him when he was little a few times, you know. But apparently, like right after he was born, like my mom and this woman weren't together. I don't really think they were even together.
Right.
So they had like a really bad falling out.
Who?
My dad and this woman.
Oh, okay.
And so it was one of those things where he would like go get the kid, like on the weekends or whatever, and it was one of those things. Wait on the stoop for your dad. He's gonna be driving up.
Oh shit.
That type of deal. And you figure this is the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s type deal. I think he's like 8 years younger than me. So now he's 44 maybe or something. Anyways, the reason I'm mentioning at one point the mom remarried and they just moved.
Oh shit.
They didn't tell my dad where they were going, nothing. So for like the last, I'll say 10 years, my dad's been trying to find him just to see how he is and all that kind of good stuff.
Right.
Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So while I was in New York, my brother called his mother, which is my stepmom. So I got on the phone with her. And she was telling me that a few months ago, that middle brother contacted them. And I was like, you kidding me? And my brother was like, yeah, he called us. Apparently he's got like 2 kids. I guess he found them and just wanted to say, I'm alive type deal. I got 2 kids. I don't even know if he told them where he lives. And they said, and that was it. They tried calling him back. He won't answer. They leave him messages. He don't call him back.
Wow.
I was like, oof. I guess he didn't want to speak to my dad. He spoke to them. So I don't even know if my dad knows that he called, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, it's probably it would be hard to tell, I guess, at this point too, is if he really does know or if he really does remember, right? Like it'd be a.
Oh, he'll remember him. Yeah, he knows him. I mean, it's just I don't honestly. From what I gather, it kind of sounds like that brother didn't even want to speak to my dad.
But well, I mean, it doesn't sound like it was your dad's fault. Why would he, begrudge your dad? But who knows what he's been told, right?
And that's what my stepmom was saying. They think that he probably contacted them, and then maybe told his mom that he contacted them, and his mom was like, "Yo, don't ever call them again," type deal.
Wow.
And you got to remember, this is way before internet.
I was just saying, 40 some odd years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's strange. So then, then the other brother didn't show up. You said, right?
Yeah, he couldn't get off of work.
Oh wow. How can you not get off of work for a funeral? For your dad, like.
My brother didn't go. He couldn't get off of work.
Well, but that's different though. Like, that brother lives there in New York, right?
No, they're from Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. All right.
They
I forgive
from
him.
Puerto Rico.
I forgive him. All right. I can understand. Like, if I fuck for you, like even that's crazy, right? Like, well, I'm not gonna clean pools the next couple of days. I gotta fly to New York on a whim because somebody in my family passed away. Like, that's awesome that you're able to do that. But even then, like, how many people would? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, it was. Again, I'm glad I did it. I it's unfortunate, but I don't think I ever see my dad again.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
You
I'm
made
glad
your-
I went. You know how. I was just saying about like that middle brother. And you say, well, it doesn't sound like your dad did anything wrong. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, for example, you you moved from, was it New Mexico back to the Bay Area
From Arizona to the Bay Area.
to get closer to your kids?
Right.
I mean, one would think when my mom moved from New York to California to give us a better life,
He'd have come to California with
you would think he'd come to California too. You know? So, did he really do everything he could? You follow what I'm saying?
Well, but maybe he thought that was a better life for you guys instead of...
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. But what...
I'm not making excuses for him, by the way. I'm just...
Yeah, it's just one of those things that what's holding you in New York... I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. My grandmother was there. His brother was there. Our family's there. I get that. However, your kids are your wife. You got a divorce, and your ex-wife is taking your sons to California. What's holding you in New York?
Right. Mm.
So that's when you say, if I'm okay with it. He made this bed that we're living in, that we live in. So
right.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because
he made his choices, and
yeah,
we are where we are. We accept it all now.
And it's funny because obviously after I was an adult and everything, we talk every once in a while. But I mean, it ain't like he knew when my birthday was and would call me. And I'm okay with it.
He never called you on your birthday or sent you a card or nothing?
I actually spoke to him last year. I think it was last year. I called him on my birthday to see if there was a slight chance he'd say happy birthday. And he didn't know. Wow. Which is okay. And the thing is, I'm okay with that because that's the relationship he established with us.
I think maybe what happened, though, is that you probably called him while you were at work because you don't take your birthday off.
And
I'm just kidding.
And let me see if I hold on one second. And I'll tell you why. Yes, it was last year. My birthday was on a Sunday.
Oh wow!
I took my dog for a walk that morning.
And while you were on your walk,
I called him. So what I was going to say was, after I became an adult, after I was already married, I think, pretty sure, even after the kids were born, I had spoken to him once, and he tells me, how come you don't call me? And I was really taken aback by that, to be honest with you. I'm like, in my head, I didn't tell him this, of course. I'm like, why would I call you? Like, regularly. Why would I do that? You never called me growing up.
I would have come back hard charging.
The language barrier, what I would want to say to him, he wouldn't understand because I don't speak that good of Spanish. Mm. So it would just get too complicated, and it's not worth it,
So is that half the reason why you guys didn't communicate, because of the language barrier?
No, I think it's because that's the relationship that's the route it took.
Yeah, well, to be quite honest, I think that's probably the time, part of the time when he grew up, of knowing, you know what I mean, like celebrating birthdays and doing all that kind of shit. Like, how do I put it? Like, fathers should know their kids' birthdays. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying.
Well, he's from a different school. He's old school.
Right.
Back then, you could leave your wife and kids and not even worry about it and not think twice about it.
Right.
Back then. And I get it. But again, all I'm saying is, You're asking me how come I don't call you like regularly? It's like because for 30 years you didn't call me regularly when I could have probably used a call here and there. You know, graduating high school,
Right.
turning 21.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, I got daddy problems. I got daddy issues. It's funny because like my daughter, some of her friends, like they don't have their dad in their lives and stuff, and you know some of the things that they do. You know, she says they got daddy issues. You know,
Right.
and
You don't know what daddy issues are.
and sometimes I tell myself, well, I got daddy issues.
How much do you think that your relationship or lack thereof with your dad shaped the way you became a father? Good or bad? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, the reason why I am the way I am with my kids is because I didn't have a dad and I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want that kind of relationship.
Right.
But it's also like, it's funny how should I say? It's almost like I didn't have an example,
Right.
if that makes sense. So I you know, I'm winging everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you didn't have that that toxic masculinity around you. Like there's a lot of things that you do and I've learned and I take into account over the last 3 years on certain things that you do, like knowing birthdays and knowing and doing this and gifts and things the way you are with certain people, like as a man and having a father. Like my dad wasn't like that. Like we never noticed that. So that had to be things that you learned from being with your mom all the time, like those kind of things. You know what I mean? And I never understood sometimes, I think, how important some of those little gestures are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And some of the things that I've learned about you and how you function, how those little things are important to you and how they affect your relationships and how you see people. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a trip.
Like I've had, like for example, my nephew's dad.
Okay.
Like he was a father figure to me. You know, as I was older. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but as much of a father figure he was, I still just didn't have a father.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, of course, yeah, I mean, it obviously it turned out for the best. But yeah, you know, I remember times when hanging out with James, like going to his Little League games as a spectator
Right.
with him and his family. Because I didn't, you know, my mom worked and she didn't know shit about baseball or even where to sign up for baseball if we were able to do that.
Right.
But it was like, you know, so I would go with him and his family and hang out with his parents, watching him play, shit like that, you know. You know, so that kind of stuff, I guess you could see. I mean, I remember it to this day, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because I didn't have a dad to show me how to play ball and shit
Right.
like that.
Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to say this without sounding dickish, and not to you, but just dickish in general. Because what's worse, not having a father around to do that with you, or having a father around that was incapable? Because, you know, that was always, you know, growing up, it was, you know, my dad's back was jacked up from, because he hurt his back the year I was born. Like he got smashed in a lift or car lift, and he hurt his back, And so we never threw a baseball or a football, or he couldn't move his body that way. So we never learned that. We never learned how to fish. We didn't. We were on welfare most of our life, so I didn't have the money to play baseball or sign up for football or soccer or anything like that. Like, oh, okay. So he found a tether ball at the junkyard one day, put a piece of rope on it, put some cement in a wheel and a metal post that he had in the backyard, and now I have the tetherball court in my backyard. Like, he did things that he could, and he taught us invaluable lessons on how to think and how to do certain things. But the fundamentals of being a father and showing and being able to, instill those things of camaraderie within us was not there, because, I'm sure that not being able to work and doing all that kind of stuff kind of weighed heavy on him, and he
Right.
wasn't, they never had friends over or nothing. It was always just the kids and mom and dad. Like, they didn't have, you guys throw parties all the time and have people over, and your kids see you interact with other adults and blah, blah, blah. So, I never, and this is why I think I fall short on friendships and relationships, because I never saw my parents interact with friends on the way we do, right? And how to harvest and maintain those relationships. So it's kind of funny that, yes, you didn't have your father around, but there was things that your mother taught you and instilled in you that, because of circumstances, and I did have my father, I didn't learn those the way you did. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So don't, in some aspects, we got shorted on certain things. Yours is different because your dad wasn't there. Mine was because my dad was hurt. But at the same point, look where we are.
Well, I mean, if I could be thankful in regards to him for anything, it's like he showed me what not to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. What?
Like, so what?
So I'm just saying, I'm thankful for that, because I know what not to do.
Right.
So I in a sense, I just did the opposite.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's important, and even at, even at our age, to be, especially now, like, fuck, dude, honestly, like 30 years ago, we never would have talked about this or come anywhere near to having a conversation like this. We'd just call each other fucking names and laugh at each other for having emotions about, our parents or whatever. But, we evolve, right? And we learn. And that's what's important. And even with that, with what you went through with your dad, and quite honestly, dude, being the bigger person and going back there, to see him, even if it is just one last time, to be able to mend fences or be okay with him or whatever was in your heart that made you go. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you were able to do that and kind of just close that chapter, for lack of better terms. I mean, I know the chapter's not over because he's still alive, but
yeah. Yeah. When I got married, he actually came to my wedding.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. And what's funny is how many people said, and I mean, obviously it's not literally, but they were like, I didn't even know you had a dad.
Oh, wow. He said, well, fuck, neither did I.
That was actually kind of funny. A couple of people told me that shit.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I finally got to take my test.
Oh,
My
nice.
exam for my life test. I passed it with an 85%.
No shit.
Yeah, passing in California is only 60%, but I got an 85.
Our damn school system, 60% is passing.
Right? Like I was like, God damn, because I remember I took the test and passed back in. I think I have my certificate still from 2005, where I took it and I passed it.
Wait a minute. You've already taken the test and passed it.
Correct.
Is this something you got to do every certain amount of years?
So, like, I think it's good for 2 years, and then every 2 years you got to have 8 hours worth of like classes on it, like re-education on it.
Oh, okay.
And then you get another certificate, or your license continues. But I let it lapse, so I had to go and take the actual test, and not just do the 8 hours. So, but it's funny because, back then, I didn't have the people around me. Like, I think at this age, it'll be a lot easier to sit down with people and say, hey, so, I'm doing, life insurance. We're doing, get you to have money for your future, money for your children, like how to set up your life, kind of, being a financial counselor. And I think at this stage and age, with the people around me, the people I know, it'll be a lot easier to find clients and to push or to get with other people that are in our age range than it was back 30 years ago trying to do it, or 20 some odd years ago, because it's just, you're not in the same place, you know what I mean? And people at that age are like, unless you're doing really, really well and you need to be able to amass and hide your money and hold it for your children, that'd be different, you know what I mean? But now's the point where people start, oh, fuck, I need to put money away for retirement, or I need to make sure that I have this. Or the one that really got me is there's a, and you brought it up too, is that long-term care. Because I tell you what, like when we were going through it with my mom, even with my dad, like, he was on hospice, and, luckily he was living with my sister, and, I'd have to go in the morning to help him do whatever it is that he had to do, like change his bag and clean it out, put it back on, get them set up for the day, make sure they ate, do all that, go to work, come back and do it again, and then come home. So, we didn't have anybody going to the house to take care of them. And had they had, some kind of plan put together where, they had a life insurance, they could have had a rider in there where they could get their death benefits early to pay for long-term care. And it would help them, have somebody come to the house to make sure that they're okay, make sure that they're cleaned up, make sure they're prepared for the day, help them get through their daily routines. Like my mom, when she was going, she didn't want it. We still had the money. We still had all the money from when they sold their house. But my mom didn't want any kind of help. She was refusing all of it, and she would get combative with us.
And help for herself or help for your dad?
Help for her. Once my dad passed, and it was just her, like she would get combative with my sister. And so we were like, okay, well, we need to get somebody to come because we're not going to be here all day. And you're so forgetful. Like there was a time I went, and she had left. She didn't leave the stove on, but she had cleaned it, and she bumped one of the knobs on, and she passed the clicking to where it lights, and it was just letting gas in the house. I walked in, and you could smell the gas, and I was like, oh fuck. So I was like, what is that smell? Like I recognize that smell. What is that? She said, what are you talking about? I'm like, hold on, don't move. So I went and I saw that the fucking gas on the stove was lit. And so you got to turn it off, got to open up fucking windows, let the house air out.
Right.
And I'm like, we need to get somebody to come and fucking help you. This is crazy. She had done that. She had left the stove on a couple of different, she'd get done cooking and she'd forget to turn the stove off. She'd do that shit all the time. Or we'd go, have you eaten? I think so. What do you mean you think so? Did you have it? What'd you have? No, I didn't eat. Okay, well, have you taken your pills today? Yeah, let me see your pill box. And then because we'd have to fill out those pill boxes for her.
Right.
And that day's pill box was full. Like, well, this is still, and you didn't take your pills yesterday either. Because here's Tuesday and today's Wednesday and they're both full, Mom. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't take them. And then you're like, Mom, we need to get somebody. No, I don't need anybody to help me. Oh, yeah? Well, what are we going to do to help you remember that you're taking the pills? Well, that's what the box is for. I know, but you haven't taken your
Right.
pills in 2 days. Like, what are we going to do? So, it's one of those things that you don't think about. And even when you're a younger kid and you have your parents and you're an adult, but you don't think about how to do that and how to set yourself up and, make sure that they have the best stuff possible. And, it's you need to figure out a way to do that for your parents,
So
for yourself, really.
If you pass your test, what's the next step?
So now I just have to wait for them to issue my license. And then in the meantime, I finish my study hours because you have to have like 52 hours worth of studying. And I think I'm like at 26 or 27
How's
hours.
that tracked?
What was that?
How's that tracked?
Because it's all done online.
Oh,
So they have a counter. So whenever you're on the website and you're in one of those classes, it counts the time that you're on. That way, once you hit your 52 hours, you can submit for your license. So I'll finish that up, and then that way we can submit for it. And then once that's done, then I have to have a list of people that I want to meet with or that I want to potentially sell to, basically. And then with that, I have somebody from the company, somebody on my team that's with me to show me how to sell it because, yes, I'm licensed, but I don't know the products yet. So once they teach us the products, then I can go on and sell by myself. But for like the first 25, I think they said, somebody will be with me to help me sell the products. That way I can hear how they pitch it, how they answer questions, and kind of come up with my own way to do it and then go from there.
so I think this is how I phrased it one time before. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you now in regards to the job? Getting a job, working.
I'm not that scared.
Were you at an 8 at one point? I don't remember.
Yeah, the first time you asked me, like it was 2 days after I'd gotten let go, and you're like, "Oh, how do you feel?" I'm at an 8. And then at one point I was like, "I'm at a 4."
So where are you at now?
I'm probably like at a 7.
Oh, okay.
I don't think because I haven't really put in that much time into finding a job. I've really kind of just been studying this and kind of resetting myself and getting ready for whatever that next adventure is and trying to figure out what it is that I want to do and how I'm going to get there. So I've kind of put together a financial plan for myself to cover me until I get there. And that was probably, if anything, that's what's kind of been like, ooh, shit, I gotta do this, like blah blah blah. So I'm not overly concerned, and I think that if I can turn around and sell some of these things, fairly quickly, because it usually takes about 3 meetings. They say as you meet the people, kind of figure out what they want to do, what they're looking for. Come back in a couple of days with the plan, put together a plan for them. So this is what I have, yada yada yada. Give them a couple of more days to discuss it with their wife or whatever. Let them come to their own conclusion. We meet with them again, and then at that point, they make their payment and blah blah blah, and we have them sign everything. So it could be really fast, where I turn around and make money, or it could drag on. But that falls on me and how how willing I am to kind of put myself out there to say, hey, have you ever thought about this or have you ever thought about that? I'm not, and the problem is that I'm not a salesman in the sense where I'm going to go out and harp on you about it. You know what I mean? I'll tell you about it. Somebody asks me what I do, I'll mention it. Just a real broad, it's kind of light. I'll never ask you at that point, hey, you want to sit down and talk about it? I could do this for you. I'll tell you what I do. If you want to know more, you'll ask me. And at that point, I'll tell you, hey, well, why don't we, you know what I mean? Let's set up a time where we can talk about it. Because there's a lot of, questions that I have to ask, and I know what kind of things to pitch you on.
But if you gotta go out and sell your own product, don't you have to be that salesman?
To some degree, yeah. Yeah. Because there's going to be, cold calling and making my own leads. But there's plenty of people to do that with and different ways to do it. Like with real estate people or with, like even with Big Lou's wife. You know what I mean? Like that, probably something I could help out there. Plenty of ways, plenty of people, plenty of different thoughts. Doing something at church. There's
church?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
You don't go to church.
I would if I got to sell something. Make money. God's money is good money, son. Shoot. Amen to that.
You really think you're going to go to church?
What?
You really think you're going to go to church?
Yeah. I'm a God-fearing man, bro.
Dog. I can't see it.
No?
No.
Why?
Because you don't even like going to the grocery store.
Oh, that's different.
How's that different?
Because the honey's at church. I mean, because you know what's a trip is when you go to church.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how often you go. I haven't been in a while.
Shh. You and me both.
But there's times where I go, and it's really okay. So like, have you ever gone to church one day, and whatever the pastor is talking about or the preacher's talking about, like punches you in the face, like he knew you were coming and you needed to hear this, and wrote about this particular part of the Bible for his sermon that week, and you're just like, damn, how'd you know I needed to hear that?
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you with that. That yes.
Because and that I don't know if that makes me feel good or scares me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, the lost sheep will always come back. He refers to people that don't go to church or hear his word as lost sheep, right? So you go back to church, and you feel like there's times where, like, I get chills sometimes when I'll go to a church and I haven't been there in forever, and he starts talking, and you're just like, dude, like you feel like he's talking directly to you.
At the mass for my uncle, the priest, you just look at it differently. Like maybe it's got to do with age or whatever. He was talking along the lines of, hey, this is not the end of the journey. This is just a moment in time. Everyone, it happens to everyone, but don't think that it ends. There's another piece afterwards. And I'm like, man, it really started just to, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not, a Bible thumper or anything.
Right.
But it was just like, man, it's just like, maybe it's one of the first times I'm just really listening.
Right.
And maybe just because of my age, and I could see it in that way.
Right.
It just really, I was really thinking about it. I was like, man, this guy's right. That type of shit. You're just here for a small amount of time. Eternity's is much longer.
Right.
I'm like, man.
And people always say, oh, well, how do you know it's real? And well, you live your life and you hope that there is a God,
Right.
and you hope that you've done enough to get to the good side, right? Like, you don't know, nobody wakes up and say, all right, I'm gonna do a bunch of shit today to go to hell. I'm good. I'm gonna work on going to hell. Nobody does that. And I think that, a lot of people, like, okay, so I understand, like, okay. So for me, I used to say that church and the Bible is kind of like a crutch. It's for people that lack direction or feel lost, that they need something, right? And because a lot of times, like, I like right now, like I would feel bad if I went to church, because I'm not, like, I wouldn't be going at a good time in my life. Like most people, when they go to church, is because the fucking bottom fell out of their life and they got, dude, Lord, where am I going to go? Show me something. Will help me out, right? And that's the easy time. That's the easy time to turn to the Lord, right? Like, if you don't go to the doctor because you're feeling good, you don't go for a checkup because you're feeling good, you go because there's something going on, and you're like, I'm not sure that this is the way this is supposed to work, right? So that's the same kind of thing when people start going to church, and I don't just like people that go only on Sundays. So when you go to church, a lot of the things they talk about is fellowship, right? And what that is like, it's funny because I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast on the way to the dentist today, and he was on with Kevin James, the comedian from the King of Queens, and he was talking. The dude from King of Queens was talking about how he doesn't have that community. He was talking about working out and how it's difficult to eat right sometimes. How, he would work out 6 days a week, and he would have that one cheat day. And he says the problem is people don't know how much I can really smash food, like how much I really enjoy it, how much I can really sit down and eat, right? And the guy told him, hey, you can't work out enough during the week to outrun what you eat on that one day.
Somebody told him that?
Yeah, he said there's no way.
He eats that much?
Well, because we're talking calories, right? So like a normal diet is 2,000 to some guys can run a $2,800 calorie day, right? And calories run up fast. You drink a couple of Cokes, that's 400 calories on its own. You know what I mean? You have an egg, that's 149 calories. Like, all these things, like, bam, 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 like, add up. You're at 2,000 by noon.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a 6,000 calorie day is really easy. So if you add a little extra or you're eating bigger meals, you're talking 10, 12,000 calories in one day. Like, it's really easy to overdo it. And if you're trying to stick within a certain, like, you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't outwork out a bad diet, is what they're saying. So it's kind of the same idea. It's like, he said, he said, I'd be able to do it, but I don't have anybody around me. Like, I don't have the hype guy. I don't have somebody, yeah, come on. You got to keep going. You got to keep trying. You got to keep pushing. Just do 2 more. Just do 3 more. Just is having somebody around me like that, or that's excited about going. Well, going to church is the same kind of way. Being involved and lending yourself to that kind of thing is, that's why they talk about fellowship, is like having the same minded people around you, so that when that little devil on your shoulders, hey, it's okay, just do it, nobody will know, nobody's watching, you know what I mean, it's all right, don't clean that edge of the pool, nobody will know, like, it, you know what I'm saying, like, those little things, just that little voice in your head that strays you from what would your walk with God, right? Whatever his will is, that little thing on your shoulders telling you to do something different. And if you're not around people that are also on that walk, it's really easy to to fall off or to do something else. So it's one of those things, like, all these people that I shouldn't say all these people, but people that go find themselves in a really rough time in life, and they lean on the Lord, and then they start to get better, and things start to turn around, and they start to see things different, and then things get so good they start backing off of church, and then next thing you know, they're not going to church at all anymore, living their life, and they're able to maintain it for a while, and then things go bad again.
Right.
And then, oh, God did this to me. He let me down like I've asked him, and blah, blah, blah. And so what do? They go right back to church again. And it's really easy to be religious when things are bad in your life. It's when things are good that make it difficult, that make the difference of, it makes a difference in your walk, basically. You know what I mean? Because it's really, like I said, it's really easy when it's hard. God says this, God says that, and God said I need to do this. But when things are going good, and that little devil on your shoulder is telling you to do something, it's really easy to be like, it's one time, it's not going to be a big deal. But it is, because how many times can you go back? How many times can you ask God for forgiveness about the same thing? Because that's what it's about, right? You have to repent in order to be able to go to heaven. You have to be forgiven for your sins to go to heaven, right? You have to ask for that forgiveness. Well, how can you keep asking forgiveness for the same thing? Make sense?
It does. But you want to know what doesn't make sense?
What?
How you become so religious, first of all. Talking the way you're talking right now. Hold on. Time out.
Okay.
That's part one.
Okay.
Number two, you said now wouldn't be a good time for you to go to church because, in a sense, you haven't hit rock bottom. You said things are going okay for you right now, so it doesn't make sense for you to go to church.
Okay, I'll clear that up.
Okay. And lastly, you, in the beginning of this conversation, were like, I'm going to start trying to sell this insurance, so I'm going to start going to church.
Well, you're the one to tell it. You don't go to church. I don't see you going to church.
You ain't hit rock bottom, but you got something to sell, so I'm ready to go to church.
Right. Hey, look, that's where the light of God has led me, is to go to church so I can sell.
When's the last time you've been to church?
Like a sermon, like a Sunday where.
Yes, not for somebody's funeral or somebody's wedding, for church purposes, for religious purposes.
God damn, Tony.
Same here. I mean, like you said something along the lines of, people that just go on Sundays. I'm like thinking to myself, well, first of all, that's what you really supposed to be doing. But
no, it's not. That's not what you're.
That's the least you could be doing.
That's better.
But we would just go. I mean, when we first got married and had kids, we would go on Sundays. And then, then it just turned into Easter Sunday and Christmas Eve. And then now it's like,
I'm too tired. Let's not go.
Definitely before COVID was one of the last times, but yeah.
I think the last time, if I'm being totally truthful, or let me rephrase that, being totally truthful, it had to have been around 2002-ish, 2003. So it's been about 20 years since I actually been to a church to listen to a sermon. It's been a long time.
And this speech you were just giving 2 minutes ago, that seemed like you were just at church last week. In all actuality, I went to church. It was right before COVID for my godson, Louise's kid.
Okay.
I had to take classes for the ceremony.
Oh, okay. You were his godparent or
Yes.
something? Okay.
And unfortunately, timing-wise...
You didn't pass?
No. I had to take Spanish classes with all the adults.
Oh, wow.
So I made Luis, the dad, come with, because his son's name's Luis.
To translate?
I was like, yo, he was like, I'll go with you, don't worry, because I had to do it, and it was only in Spanish. I was like, cool. But there were times when the instructor would call on me for some. I mean, because I could get by, I could get the gist of a sentence.
Right.
I can't. I won't know the details on exactly what you want or exactly how you want it done, but I can kind of understand what you're trying to get at, or what you need, what you're asking.
Okay.
So for example, it was English. What kind of what let's say you're asking about somebody's clothes. I can understand. I understand you want to know about the clothing. Maybe not you might want to know the size and the dimensions of that, but I just know you're asking about the clothes, if that makes sense.
Right.
And there were a few times when he called on me, and I gave some answers, and I was right on the money, to where even Luis was like, "Man, I'm surprised you actually did answer them right." I'm like, "Hell yes."
He said, "Well, I felt this burning sensation." All right. So to answer your questions, in 99, 98, when I got together with my ex-wife, my kids' mom, her parents were really religious, and I saw the way they led their life, and I had money in abundance and all that kind of thing, and I thought, okay, so that's kind of how I want to live my life. Like I want to have that abundance. I don't want to have to worry about blah blah blah. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like I want to be in God's favor, right? So we started going to church, and I learned it. I learned a lot. I already knew quite a bit of it. Like even growing up, like I would read pieces of it and hear my dad talk about it or whatever, and I knew enough about it to get myself into trouble, but not have a real intelligent conversation about it. And then in 99, I really kind of got to learn it. But through that time, I had a real difficult time with actually going to church because I was going to a Christian church, and a lot of times people that are into the church are really judgmental, and that's one of the main things of what they preach is don't be judgmental of other people, yada yada yada, and that's what you come up against first, is that they are judgmental, and they want to, like this lady wanted to be like, they want to be your mentor. And we're like, well, what makes you think I need a mentor? Now you just met me and you don't, you know what I mean? How do you know where I'm at, or what makes you think you know what I need? Like, you know what I mean? But I'm also that defensive, fuck off, I got this kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like, right. So I always had an issue with that. Don't necessarily buy into the having to tithe at a church. I understand that well, because a lot of times, and this is going to sound really, really wrong, and I saw it a lot of times, but especially like when I worked in Oakland, it kind of solidified it for me. We had a couple of pastors that would come in, and the church was paying for their furniture because they came from a different state to be the pastor at this church, and he still couldn't make his payments on time. I would have to work on a Sunday to go to the church so that I could talk to him, because I couldn't find him, and they wouldn't let me locate him at any other time during the month or during the week. Like, I'd go to the church, hey, I'm here to see the pastor. Oh, no, he's not available. Okay, well, I need to speak to somebody because this is blah, blah, blah. Can I speak to the secretary or whoever's in charge of finances here at the church? I don't know who that would be, or a deacon or whoever I need to speak to. Oh, no, blah, blah, blah. So the church, they wouldn't pay the bill. And I'm like, do I have to show up at his truck with a dolly so that I can repossess the pastor's furniture because they weren't making the payments on it. Like, bro, like, what are you doing to me? You know what I mean? So you see this, and you know it's at every turn. Hey, we're gonna ask for money for this, or we're gonna build a new wing on this, or I need to buy me a new Aston Martin, or I need a new fancy suit, or you know what I mean? I need me some Balenciagas, like it. So that part of it is, you know, that corporate part of church is not my favorite. Like I don't really care for that part of it. Like that's kind of like you watch it and you gotta.
My stepfather was a contractor, builds houses, builds buildings, and he told me a story once where the church wanted him to do, I don't know, repave the driveway or do something,
Right.
redo the walls. So he went out there, walked the job, wrote up an estimate, and gave it to them. So the priest accepted it, looked at it, and said, "Okay, this looks good. How much of this are you willing to donate to the church?"
Yeah.
He said, he goes, "Excuse me, can I see that paper?" And he took it back from him. He just walked away and left.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. How much of this is like? How bold is that, dude? Like, how much are you willing to donate? How much of your time are you going to give away? Excuse me. I mean, yeah, that's crazy, right?
But again, churches pretty much get their money from tithing.
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
if you were in that much in the church, why would you have a problem with that? They have to survive.
But that's the problem, though. Like, how much do they really need to survive? And if they're packed and everybody's giving 10%, right? Because that's what you're supposed to give. Is 10%
Yes.
is the minimum. But they also tell you give till it hurts, because then it's a sacrifice. Like that's what giving is supposed. That's what tithing is supposed to be, a sacrifice. So you give till it hurts, right? So like, let's say all you had was $5 for the week. Okay, well you know you need to eat a couple of days a week, but you could probably stretch it, and you know if you looked at the right food, you could probably $2, $3 in your pocket, and you'd be good. So you give $3 and you're left with $2, and then you have to believe that now you're in God's favor and He's going to give you to eat on one of those days, or you know what I mean. He's going to provide for you.
But you say now you have to believe it. But I would think if you're at that point that you're willing to do it, you do believe it.
Well, right? You have faith,
Yeah.
and that's what it. Yeah, I have a blind faith, but I have it in the Lord, not in people. These are just.
But what do you care what happens to your money that you give to them?
Because I worked for it. Shit, like, you know what I mean?
That you give to them when the purpose of you doing it is to be in God's good graces. Doesn't matter where it goes beyond you handing it to them.
Look, I didn't say I was a good Christian. I didn't say I was a good churchgoer. I just said I knew about religion. Don't be questioning me about my money. But no, you're right. Like, you're right. Like, if you're supposed to give it, it's not up to you where it goes.
That's
You're
right.
supposed to give it.
Yep.
Give it, and you give openly.
Until it hurts.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurt real bad. Real bad.
It's going to hurt you a lot more coming in the next couple of months.
Yeah, right?
Because you're going to be going.
You better start giving back. Yeah, I know, right? Speaking of hurting, we have to talk about this. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Who gonna win?
Which one's Jake Paul?
The white boy that's been doing all the boxing. Logan is the older brother that's in wrestling. Jake Paul is the younger brother that he's fought the basketball player and knocked him out. He knocked out 2 or 3 UFC
Who's
guys.
the one that fought Mayweather?
Wasn't that Conor McGregor?
No, one of the brothers did, didn't he?
Oh, then it was Jake. Yeah.
It wasn't the older one.
No, it wasn't Logan.
Because I think the older brother is the one that really knows. Not necessarily but I think he could throw down. The older brother. Who did the older brother fight?
He's in the WWE. I don't know. He's wrestling. He's a wrestler.
What's his name?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Nah, it's the other one. The other one should be fighting Tyson. What's his name?
Logan.
Yeah, Logan Paul's. He's the one that should be fighting Tyson. He's bigger.
No, he's not.
Is he not the oldest one? He's 28.
This one's 27. Jake is 27.
Yeah, the other dude's.
But Jake is much bigger than his brother.
You think?
Oh yeah, dude. And this dude, Jake's the one that's been boxing, and he's got some power, dude.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think he stands a chance. But here's the fucked up part, all right? You're this internet sensation. You're 28 years old, and you're gonna fight a boxer 30 years your senior. By the time they fight, Mike Tyson will be 58 years old. Right?
Right.
Also considered baddest man on the planet. Blah, blah, blah. One of the greatest heavyweights. He's a demolisher. He's a fucking brawler. But he's 58. He hasn't lost his power, but he's had to have lost a little bit of resistance to other people's power. I don't know though, because like sometimes when he talks or in his last few fights, you see that he's lost that mental edge. That
he don't have the eye of the tiger.
Right. And that's that hunger before you become a champion or before you start winning and achieving and doing all this shit, that hunger to get there, right? He doesn't have it anymore. He's fucking done everything he needs to do. Although if you see him in these fucking new training videos, god damn, bro. Even at 57, he's fast. He's light on his feet. Power's still there. Like, I think he's gonna. I think Jake Paul, if he's gonna panic when he's in there. He's not gonna panic at first. He's gonna try to be calm, and the first time he gets hit, he's gonna panic because I'm sure he's never felt anything.
But he might be so quick that it might take a minute for that to happen. Because Tyson ain't got that kind of speed no more.
You're fucking tripping. You're tripping. Have you seen his videos?
No.
That dude, he might be faster than he was when he was in his 20s. The dude is fast, bro. And for being 58 and being able to move like that, he's going to pose a problem for the young one. And I think, so he's watching this, and even the people around, well, yeah, but I think he's going to knock you out. What if he knocks you out? Like his girlfriend said that to him, right? So it's got to be in the back of your head. More so than with other fighters, it's going to hurt when he hits you, right? You've never had power like this. So he's gonna be timid to let his hands go. And if he is, that means Tyson's going to be able to get on the inside where he has to be because his arms aren't as long as Jake's. Jake's taller. So the good thing is that because of his style of fighting, he can get under the punches, right? So if he can keep Logan or Jake in a panic where he keeps his hands up, he'll be able to get in and hurt him. And the thing is that if you watch Jake's fight, he goes for the head. He's going for the knockout. And that's what he's going to try to do to Tyson. And Tyson doesn't do that. He goes for your body first. Because if he can break your body, your legs go. If your legs go, you don't have any. You can't stand and trade powerful punches because you can't stand right. So you can't swing with all your power. And all he's got to do is tap you the right time, and you're done. So it's either gonna end in the first or second round, or Jake's fighting the right way and it's gonna go all the rounds, or they've already decided the outcome and we're gonna watch the full fight.
That's what I was about to say. You acting like this is gonna be a real fight. This ain't no real fight.
Actually, it is. They're not gonna wear headgear after all. They said that they were gonna wear it, and it's not an exhibition fight. It's going to be an actual boxing match, and it's supposed to be sanctioned by the Texas whatever athletic board or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a real fight.
No.
No. Oh, yeah, you got a 27-year-old against a 58-year-old. This ain't gonna be no real fight.
Because imagine that, bro. If you're the 28-year-old, right? And you're boxing Mike Tyson at 58, and you beat him, people be like, so what? You beat a 58-year-old man. And? Or, you got knocked out by that fucking 58-year-old dude.
No, at that point I got knocked out by Mike Tyson. Can you say that?
Yeah, but it's still the 58-year-old Mike Tyson. But I get it. I'm just like, even then, but how much more ridicule? July 22nd?
Oh, damn, that's still a minute off.
Oh, yeah, they're just in the stage. There's plenty of time for Jake to back out.
Oh, that's a money grab. He ain't backing out. He ain't scared.
He's supposed to get $30 million, and
damn,
Tyson's supposed to get 20.
Serious?
Yup. Shit, for $30 million, I'll fight Tyson. I won't even work out, fool. We can just get in there. Quite honestly, I'll fight you for a tenth of that shit. $10 million. Let's go. Let's get it. You're gonna have to catch me.
$30 million?
What was that?
$30 million?
$30 million. And that's not it. That's not even merchandise or nothing else. That's just the contract to get in the ring. 30 grand.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be an exhibition match. It's supposed to be an actual heavyweight match. You haven't seen any of the videos of Tyson or nothing?
No. I just barely saw a advertisement for him where they're staring at each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a good it'll be fun to watch. I mean, you know,
I'll watch it.
Again, we don't know how real it really is or whatever. We'll know like within the first round. Oh shit, Tyson he's not playing. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see.
I still think his brothers would be a better choice to fight.
Really?
Yeah, he is the one that fought Mayweather, the brother, Logan.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
When?
A couple years ago. You don't know. You're not a true fan.
Of who?
Of the Logan brother, or what's their last name?
Logan.
Logan brothers, yeah. No, the Paul brothers.
He did.
I know he did.
Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. That's a janky fight. Floyd's a joke. I know a lot of people love Floyd Mayweather, but he a joke. He's not a fighter. He's a technician. He's a boxer. He's not a fighter. Know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So, did you see the new Roadhouse?
Yes. Took me 3 or 4 nights. Took us 3 to 4 nights to finish it.
Really?
Yeah, because we started kind of late. We'd start and we'd fall asleep.
So, did you like it? Did you not like it?
Hell no.
Really? What did you not like about it? Just
storyline was horrible. McGregor can't act.
I thought McGregor was what saved the movie.
Oh, oh my, yeah. That kind of clocks with you.
Because his comedic relief is the only thing that fucking.
There was no comedic relief at all. His acting is a smile on his face saying his words. The entire movie.
Well, that was his character.
No, that's him acting.
At that character.
No, come on, bro.
So
You liked it?
I liked it for what it was. See, that's the difference between you and I. You probably, oh, well, the old movie wasn't like that. Like, I remember in the old movie, he lived in the barn upstairs and blah, blah, blah.
The old movie had a storyline. This one didn't.
Yes, I agree.
This is just slap a couple things together and
let's put two guys in great shape together.
Oh, what's the dude's name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Dude.
Fucking monster in this movie,
Man.
right?
I told my old lady, the only good thing about this movie is, what's his name?
Oh, you like Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah.
No, that's what I look like with my shirt off. We kind of look alike. That's the only good thing about this movie. I get to see myself on TV.
Yeah, I think, he was in great shape, dude. I was really like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
So he really took it seriously, I guess, to kind of, I guess if you're going to fucking go up against, if McGregor's the counterpart, like, you can't go in there looking like a toothpick. Like, you got to, you know what I mean? Pump it up, homie.
He was in that other movie, too, that boxing movie where he was in good shape.
Southpaw.
Yeah, I think so. I never saw it, but I saw part of it, I should say.
But
that movie was horrible.
Which one? Roadhouse?
Roadhouse. And it also has to do with the fact that they make it seem like it's the Roadhouse that you've seen, just an updated version.
Yes.
And
that's where they made their mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the other one.
Because, like, he had no, what's that dude's name that I mentioned to you the other day? And you said, oh, yeah, he could play himself. The old white dude with a beard, deep voice.
Sam Elliott?
Yeah. Like, he had no Sam Elliott in the movie. Like, that was the whole bit. He had this dude that he could go to for help, right?
And his love interest?
There was no love interest.
Oh, that doctor?
Yeah,
but she was whack.
Yeah, but she had nothing to do with and she came in late in come on.
The movie was bad.
And he got stabbed in the same side like 3 times. And then like, come on, dog. He ain't even healed from the first stab. Like,
just like White Man Can't Jump. Horrible. The second one. The remake.
Oh, yeah.
See what that's the problem. They name it the previous movie and you thinking.
Yeah, just because there's a black guy and a white guy in a basketball. Yeah, no. I get you. Have you seen so wait a minute. The fight scenes in the movie are really good.
They're not bad, yeah.
I think that they missed the mark on the plot. Like, there was nothing really like to bring it to, like, it was just.
And how is he going to give all that money to the book owner at the end?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, he didn't establish the characters of the book owners weren't really in the movie to warrant them getting that money.
Right, other than because of the little girl, right?
Yeah, I mean, he saw her, what, twice?
Yeah, hand her 2 stacks and roll out, right? Maybe 2 stacks of cash and bounce, right?
I wouldn't even done that.
Not the whole bundle. Like, goddamn, bro.
Yeah, no.
You got your ass whooped several times and got stabbed a few times. You need to keep a couple stacks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you deserve a few stacks, bro. You're good. No, there's nobody that would have given her all that money. You know what I mean?
That movie was bad. You know what? I watched the first episode, and I think I'm gonna give up on it. Shogun.
Yeah, I watched like half of the first.
Yeah,
I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm bailing.
I'm out.
I do have to admit though, when the main character, the white dude, got urinated on by the Asian dude.
Yeah.
I remember that from the series from the 80s
Oh, I
for
don't-
whatever reason.
That's funny.
I found this on the web.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember the original series at all.
I didn't watch it, but I just for whatever remember that part. I think the dude's name was Richard Chamberlain. He was the white dude in the original Shogun.
Oh, okay.
I remember him getting urinated on in that show.
Have you seen the new show? It's on ABC. It's called Trapper or
No.
Tracker. Excuse me.
No.
It's pretty good, dude. It's kind of like it's kind of like their answer to Reacher.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it's better than it's. The character is not as good as Reacher. Like the Reacher character is like really good. Like it's like he's big, he's built, like, and the shit that he does is like, yeah, that dude can get away with that shit. Like he's a fucking monster. This guy, the guy that plays Tracker, he's not as likable as Reacher, but but it's really good. So like shit happens throughout the United States, and he's in his truck, and he pulls a trailer, and they call him to investigate it and to find, these missing people because he knows how to track shit down. That's why it's called Tracker. It's actually pretty good, dude. You should try it out. It's pretty good. It's better than Roadhouse. Better than Roadhouse. Don't even look at me like that.
I think I might owe you an apology.
I'm listening.
I bet you are. On Hulu, which is where I saw Shogun,
Okay.
and I watched a couple other shows. There's a option for that 19 show you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Are there new episodes for it?
Yeah, they just came out.
So maybe it is kind of popular. Remember, I was busting your balls saying, "Why are you watching shit from years ago?"
Yeah.
That nobody could talk about. I mean, it's like I'm like, is that show Mingo's talking about?
Yup. Station 19.
Yeah, it's Station 19.
Yup.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
Are you watching it?
Yeah, I just started watching it again. I saw that they came on because I was like, wait, it says new episode. What the fuck? Oh shit. Season 8. Let's go. It's pretty fucking funny. Did you watch the show The Rookie?
No, I don't watch that.
No. That's pretty good. Not
Is
bad.
it?
I'm kind of a fan of that lead, that guy. He was on Castle.
Yeah.
That's what I know him as. I don't know his fucking name.
If I remember right, when that show first started, it was about him being old and becoming a rookie.
He was a 40-year-old rookie or some shit.
that
Yeah.
didn't interest me at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess it interested me because I'm like, fuck, I want to be a 40-year-old rookie. All right. Well, do you have any final words or any shout-outs today, or what do we got going on?
Oh, yeah. Since we missed last week, we missed
yeah.
telling Ivan's son James turned 21
Oh yeah.
last Wednesday. So happy birthday, James, 21.
Happy birthday.
Legal to drink now. Today's 20.
Today is my sister-in-law's birthday, Crystal. Happy
Is that
birthday.
Right? Happy birthday, Crystal. Let me see. Sunday, happy Easter to
Oh, yeah.
you and yours.
Yeah, that's coming up. You too.
Both my kids are coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My son's flying in. He actually flies to LA on Thursday. And they're both going to drive in on Thursday night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they'll be.
So you can have the kids back for a couple days, huh?
Yeah.
Are you taking some time off to spend with them, or are you just...
No. Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, my kids are coming into town.
Well,
They're gonna spend some time at my house because I'm gonna go to work.
First of all, my kids are still young. And what I mean by that is...
Yeah, but you're not.
What I mean by that is they don't come out of the room waking up in the morning until like 10. Okay? So I'll be home a few hours after that. I'm up at 4:30. So...
Yeah, but that means if they're waking up at 10, they don't go to sleep till 2. You're asleep by 6.
And?
So
I
you
go to
get like 4 hours of daylight with him, and then you're out.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. I go to sleep when it gets dark. So now that it's getting later, I'm going to sleep later.
Mm-hmm.
So when it gets dark at 4:30, I'll go to sleep at 4:30.
Okay.
But now it's going to getting darker later. I'll go to bed when it gets dark.
All right.
So yeah. My niece Alea, she's turning 5 on Monday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Alea.
birthday.
That's paparazzi's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Our homie Robert turns 49 on Tuesday.
Yeah, he's almost joining us, bro.
Yes, he is. One more year, he's on the back 9.
Woo.
No, that'll do it.
That's it?
My son, actually, I'm looking at my phone now. He just sent a picture of a grocery bag that he just went to the store with my chocolate cake.
Nice.
So I want to tell him, thank you, son. I really appreciate you bringing that for me. I'm looking forward to tearing it up.
Someday he'll bring one for Uncle Mingo.
Dude, that cake is so good.
Yeah?
Well, you saw I sent a video.
Yeah, how many did you bring back from New
I
York?
just brought one because I knew I was getting another one this
this
coming
dude.
week. Dude, that cake is off the hook. I cannot explain it. That cake.
That good.
Oh my goodness, bro. I'm telling you, I eat that whole thing in quarters.
Look, Entenmann's, we don't have a sponsorship from you guys yet, but, you know, we all like what we like from Entenmann's. Your chocolate donuts, the little raspberry Danish twist, the chocolate cake. I'd like to try that. Maybe you could send us some.
That chocolate cake is, it's heaven. Oh. I still got one last quarter. I might just tear that up tonight.
That way your son doesn't see any traces of it when he comes
He
with
knows.
you doing.
He keeps asking me if I finished it already.
Oh,
I'll be like, don't worry, son. I'm going to finish it by the time you bring me the next one.
you better hope you don't make him mad one day. He gonna put laxatives in it. Some chocolate lax. All right, cool deal. Hey, well, thank you all for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.